And we are so privileged to have this opportunity to share, knowledge and that can help you, that can help families, that can help couples, people, even people in relationship, people that are planning to get married, help them thrive and help them build a more interdependent relationship. Why I love this particular topic so much is because in my years of counseling and interacting with couples, I often realize that a lot of couples, they fall in love, they get married, and then when they get into the marriage, they still want to be the same people that they were when they were single. So even if they have the desire to win, because we're talking about playing to win. So even if they got into the marriage to win, to succeed, that's what we mean, right? When they get into it, they find it difficult to now blend in as a team, and just be able to whip up that team spirit. And like we always say in our family systems, we say that when it comes to building a home, a thriving home, and when it comes to building a dream team, like it's important that you check the quality of the players. That's the quality of the individuals in the marriage that are coming into the marriage, or that are in the marriage. How skilled are they? How nurtured they? How developed are they? How mature are they? How driven, purpose driven are they? How visionary are they? So you're checking the quality of the players, of the people that are coming into the marriage. But then, however qualified, or is that the word I would use, you are, or however wonderful you are as an individual, if those two wonderful individuals don't know how to now blend in as a team, it becomes a problem, because blending in as a team means that we have to gain better understanding of each other. We have to now be accountable to one another and all of that. And then you also have to now understand the technique that is involved in playing as a team. So I don't want to talk so much for an introduction. So I'll just let my husband give his perspective on our topic for today.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. And thanks to everyone for tuning in and rewatching this broadcast. It's such an interesting topic because marriage is powerful, and it's actually an institution designed to be able to help us be our best and do our best. Yes. That is the power in that institution called marriage. So marriage is wonderful, right? And I like the theme of this discourse because it's playing to win, right? The making of a dream team. So you see that they are both connected, right? So if you are not a dream team, then winning will be far away from you, because you need to be a team to win. If you are not a team, there is no way you can win, right? And winning every day in your marriage can be an experience. It's possible, right? And so that's the first mentality you should have, that it's possible to win every day as a couple. It's possible to win every day as a family. It's possible, but it doesn't just come easy, right? And that's why there's a word there, the making of a dream team and playing to win, right? And as my wife was saying earlier, it's important for us to understand that every time we have the opportunity to play, every time, right? By virtue of our communication, interaction in the home, right? So whether you like it or not, playing is happening somehow, right? But are we winning? Are we meeting the expected outcome, right? And winning can be relative. What does winning mean to you, right? You must be able to define what winning
in marriage means to
you, right?
I know it's interesting because somebody can say, "Oh, I've won because I'm married.
Exactly.
I'm not a wife."
So
that's winning for that person.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the husband is coming to like, no, winning means that this is what we're going to achieve as a family. Or maybe for some people, winning means I will have one boy, one girl. Once the children come,
both the sexes,
they feel like they have won
exactly
in the marriage.
Yeah, winning is probably collaborating with somebody to build a house, right? So many people have different definition of what winning means to them, and as an individual, you must know and you must be on the same page with your partner as to what winning means to us as a team, right? No longer to you as an individual. Because if one person feels that I am winning and the other person doesn't feel that way, you are not winning, right? That system is not a winning system, right?
Yeah.
And you see a level of dissatisfaction and uneven development. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of marriage don't get to go through, stuff together, right? They don't get to overcome the things that they should naturally overcome because one person has arrived at their Eldorado while the other person is still struggling.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing is that the both of you winning as a whole, it simply means that we win, not I win or you win. We as a couple win. And so it's important that the best strategy to use, an analogy to use to describe a team is actually sports, right? I'm going to be taking our cue from there. And my wife was saying earlier that one of the very important parts of winning is the quality of the players involved, right? And she's also said about the ability to blend in, right? To ability to work together as a team. And quality for me is, in simple terms, the degree of compliance, right?
Yeah.
That's the degree of compliance. Compliance to what is your responsibility, right? Understanding your responsibility as a husband for me and understanding your responsibility as a wife, right? So that's where quality talks about how well you understand it and how well you are willing to play that role, right? That's quality. Then another part of it is my ability to blend in, right? How accommodating can I be? Can I work as a team? Am I thinking of competition rather than companionship? That is critical, right? So it's first a mindset. Then you must have a superior playing pattern, right? A superior playing pattern because everybody have their structure, the way they deal, right? For you to be able to deal properly. So you must have a superior playing pattern. And we're going to be seeing some of these things as we progress. And lastly, on this, we must have a tactical formation that wins, right? A tactical formation. You must be tactical. You can't just leave things to chance. You must be aware, right, of the current state of your union and what you are to do to be able to ensure that you work together as a team to win. So you can't leave things to chance, right? If you are not living at your expected end, you must be sensitive enough to know what is the current state of my spouse. In fact, I heard a story today, that also touched him, right? And the wife just went to the husband and said, I am not happy. And the guy thought he's been doing all the best, providing for the home, doing his 9 to 5, and just is there in terms of financial provision. But in terms of how the woman feels, she said she's not happy. That means they are not working together in synchronization, right?
Yeah.
And that's because that tactical formation is not there. And that's critical, very, very critical.
So even before we go into the formation, because we're going to be sharing with you a family systems strategy for making a dream team, and we liken a family to a football team, with players playing to win, each season, year in, year out. But before we go into that, I just want to buttress the point that even before you begin to think of strategy, there's a mindset that even makes you want to say, this is the strategy I want to use. I'm willing to give myself to what it takes to build this family, to work as a team, because building a team requires that each of us are willing to give up our independence.
Yeah.
And it's not right for one person to give up their independence while the other person pursues as in still trying to live by themselves. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
As in one person is living as if their independence, while one person has given up their independence. And so you see one person trying to fight to learn, to develop skills, and the other one is just there. And it's so frustrating when one spouse is passive or indifferent, maybe, and it's for different reasons. There are different reasons why people just show up into marriage and they are just they don't have any drive to want to fight, and you have to always look at what are the things that they believe, what did they believe about marriage before they got married, and what does marriage mean to them, what does love mean to them, what does family mean to them. And so it's not like I just got married for status sake, or I just got married because it was my time to get married, or I just got married because my friends were getting married. All those reasons is what can make somebody come into the marriage. Or maybe you get married and you now see that you and your spouse are not really able to really blend in as a team, maybe you've tried and then you just suddenly become passive. But I want us to understand that playing to win and making of a dream team requires that we are both willing to give up our independence. It requires that we are both willing to be accountable, to one another, because that's what marriage is. Marriage, when you get married, you are saying that I'm now ready to move from doing things on my own to being ready to answer to somebody else. And it doesn't matter whether it's the man or whether it's the woman. You have to both be ready to be accountable, the willingness to be accountable. And both of each person has to have that sense of personal responsibility in the marriage, where both of you are participators. Not that one person is just a spectator and the other person is the one that is actively doing something. So both of you are active participator in trying to build a thriving marriage. And another thing is the ability of each person to be able to communicate their needs effectively, communicate their needs, their desires, what they want. And I realize that most times why couples are not able to communicate, what they need, is because most times they don't even know what they need. Most people are not aware of themselves. They don't even know what maybe their love language is. They don't even know what they really appeal to in terms of love. And maybe some people are not even receptive, to love. And maybe some people's perception of love has been diluted. So there are so many things that can just make someone unable to communicate what they really need, from their spouse. And even maybe when they know it, they don't really know how to communicate it. And that's why all those skills are required. And we're going to see all of these things play out as we begin to share, the tactical formation that is required to play to win that dream team. And every couple, every family, I'm one of those people that believe that every couple has the potential to win. As in, like, even if marriage is not marriage doesn't come natural to anybody. It doesn't not marriage. Nobody was born as in to know how to be married, as in to know how to be with someone else, something like that, right? So, but it that can be learned. It's something that can be practiced, because now when we're going to teach you the strategy to it may, especially for people that are not used to playing as a team, when you begin to try to, it may look like it's awkward, or maybe some people will fall here, fall there, but at the end of the day, practice is what will make perfect. So I just want to encourage us and just let us know. And also, even as we begin to look at the formation, it's important that you know that your beliefs matters a lot in the marriage. And I think I've said this before: what you believe about marriage, what you believe about love, what do you understand? And you mentioned it earlier about your roles and your responsibility. What is expected of you as a husband? What is expected of me as a wife? And it's something that the couple have to agree. You don't have to do it based on cultural beliefs or religious beliefs. You both are the ones in the marriage. Nobody else is doing the marriage with you. You decide. What is it that we want to, what is it that we believe about marriage? What is our core belief about marriage? Why are we doing this marriage together? Okay, so what are the things that are not acceptable, in our marriage? And what are our roles? What are our responsibilities? Okay, so you take charge of money, you take charge of parenting, you take charge of our traditions and our habits, and you are able to just share like that. And it all comes from your beliefs, as in your ability to align, in your beliefs, so that you can be able to pursue and push forward into what you want to achieve as a family. So I don't know.
So I just have one or two things to say before we move to the next this conversation. Right. I always say this: uneven development limits the potential of any marriage. Uneven development. And when development is uneven, it simply means that there is no teamwork. Marriage is not hard work. Marriage is teamwork. The marriage that we win is teamwork until we get the full understanding of the power of a team. I was actually driving back from work today, and I asked myself a simple question: that clubs don't win, teams win, right? So for those who are into sports, for the fact that clubs don't win, same thing. Organizations don't win. It's the people, the team that wins. Okay? And it will interest you to know that at the start of every season, of any sport at all, everybody starts with a 0 point. Everyone. Including, I mean, that's the best analogy you can give to a marriage. Everyone enters, right? In marriage is like the institution. But the difference, why people are winning, why people are losing, is because of what they choose to do, right? So really, there's no excuse. The one carrying the trophy, right, and the one going on relegation, the difference is the ability to work as a team, the kind of team. That's the difference, right? So I want to say that you can make that choice today. You may be on 0 points. If you take the things you are going to be saying, you can make that choice today to get to maybe top 4 and top 1 and keep winning just by changing strategy, mindset, like she said, right? Having the right understanding, and blending together and seeing things differently. For me and my wife, we see ourselves as one team, right? It's not I, it's not her. That has ended, right? So we work together as a team. So we're just going to be speaking to some of all this, and it's important to have this understanding because everything trying to destroy you as a family, right? If you do not put these tactics together as a team, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have the capacity to withstand it alone, right? You need to work together as a team to do that. Yeah.
Because oftentimes people come into marriage with good intentions, with the intention to win, but intentions are not enough. They are not sufficient. You have to have intentional actions and make intentional choices and do things intentionally to be able to achieve what you want. And blending in as a team doesn't mean that you're just going to get it right from day one, because it takes a process. Somebody will always say that you are joined at the altar, but your journey to becoming one starts, from there. It's not like you have come together and now you are one. No, it may take some time. So sometimes couples give up, in their ability to try to blend in as a team. Maybe they've tried for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but sometimes you have to give it time because sometimes for some people it takes maybe like a year to understand each other, 2 years to understand, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It's not like things will be so bad. I'm speaking to some persons who like to always like throwing the tower at the slightest thing, because I realize these days that most times, most of the reasons why couples want to separate are not really as bad as some would think. Yes, there are really bad ones that, yes, okay, separate, but sometimes you look at the situation and like, this is actually something that you can actually work on. The energy that you would use to go through the pain of divorce, that energy can be used to actually put in the work to make the marriage work, especially when the two people are winning. I'm not talking about the one that is just one spouse that is ready to put in the work and the other one is just whatever happens, right? So give it time and let it.
So let's talk about the winning formation, right?
Yeah.
Things that has to be in place for you to win. Okay. The first one is the talent, and that is love.
Okay, so let's give a perspective to this because we don't have a slide. We didn't know we're going to be coming in through Zoom, so we don't have our slide. But I just want you to be able to. And if you are into sports, if you're into football, maybe this will come clearer and you have better understanding of it. But maybe my husband, since you are the one that watches match, so you can just give the he's a Chelsea fan. Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you just give perspective to the formation that teams play. I know that there are different formations, but for the purpose of this analysis that we're about to make, it will be important that you share, what we are trying to do, because we are likening marriage for the purpose of driving this information in as a football team, a team that wants to play to win, not the team that is just okay with just being a team, or a team that is just okay with being relegated, or a team that is just okay with having jersey. No, we want to be able to analyze for you building a team that is actually ready to carry the cup every year in, year out. They're carrying the cup. They will not be like Arsenal or Chelsea that's 1 year today they carry cup. Another year, 3 years later. No, we want you to be winning consistently. So
the perspective of this, it's a football pitch, and we have these players, right? We're using the formation 4-4-2, and we have the following players, right? Number one is talent, and talent is like the goalkeeper, okay? And it represents something, and it actually represents love, right? Because it is critical.
Mhm.
It's the final defense. What defends you from
Okay, so
losing?
sorry, you are
Okay.
talking about the goalkeeper now, that's
Yes,
the talent.
talent.
We are going to actually be introducing 11 key players for you to win
Okay.
as a team.
Yeah.
You need the 11-man team. I know some football teams will have people that are, what they call it,
The substitutes.
and all of that. But
Yeah.
for marriage,
Yeah.
we just need 11 players. If these 11 players are present in your home,
Yeah,
you will win.
you will win.
It's tested and
almost
it's proven.
certain.
It's a family systems engineering, strategy. It works like magic.
Okay,
It just requires your intentionality to put in the work to do it.
good. So we have talent,
Talent.
which is at the goalkeeper level. We have purpose, values, vision, and skills at the defense level. So like I said, it's a 4-4-2. Then we have continuous development, understanding, team spirit, and fitness. They're actually at the midfield for those who know football. Then your strikers, you have strategy, and the technical crew, right? So we're going to be looking at this just very briefly, right? And I want us to be able to take questions even as we progress, okay? So like I said, talent is the goalkeeper, right? And it's the ability to love, right? And love is key because love is supposed to be in its raw state. It's something that keeps your home together. It's something that you must uphold as very dear to you. It's something that you must allow. Some people do not want to be loved. Have you ever seen that kind of scenario? They are finding it difficult to love because they don't allow themselves to be loved, right? And as a human being, you must allow love. Love is beautiful. Yeah. Let it flow through you and let it flow to you.
And one of the reasons why we call it talent is because love it comes to us in a raw form, as in it's in us. It's already in us. We're born with it because, especially if you're a Christian, you know that God is love and we are born of God. We are born to love, for love, and to be loved. So it's inherent. Everybody is born with it. It's a talent we all came in with. But it has been suppressed by different experiences, by different environments that we have been in, by our upbringing, by how we saw love. So even if we have it in us, our perspective of it may have been dented just by the reason of things that we have experienced, whether we have experienced it personally or whether we have witnessed it. So
Hello. Can you hear me? I can see you, but I can't hear you. Hello. I can hear you, but I can't hear you. I see you, but I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear us here now? Inasim, can you hear us? It's from her end. Can you hear us, Inasim?
Hello.
Hey, can you hear us now?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay. Sorry, the network. Please confirm you can see us now.
Yes, I can see you. Sorry, I've never had this network problem before. I don't know what's happening today. It's not even raining.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what
it
the problem
happens.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you now. Just continue from where you stopped.
Okay, beautiful. Sorry, just a second.
All right. I think we stopped at silence when we're saying that love is something that we came with but may have been suppressed. So you have to ask yourself, do I know what it means to love and be loved? Am I receptive to love? Is my perspective of love, what it really is? What does love mean to me, and what does love mean to my spouse is an important aspect of your relationship that you have to link into. And that's what is called talent.
Yeah, you guys just embrace love. Love one another passionately is critical for you to win. And the other one is skills, right? This is what you do, and concerning what you lack, right? Understanding what you lack as a family and or as an individual, as a couple, and doing something about it, right? If you're not strong in terms of communication, what are you doing about it? So these are things that you develop. It doesn't come naturally, right? That's why it's called skills. It doesn't come naturally to you, right? How often do you listen to people that inspire, right? What are you filling your minds with? Okay, people that inspire, couples that really inspire you. How close are you with them? Are you engaging the materials that will help you in terms of probably building skills like communication, even your appearance, right? Things to make you look better, negotiation skills,
anything that requires you learning.
Yeah, you need to, this is key, this is important if you must win. You can't sit and do nothing about it. It's not going to work. I always say that it's easy to feel right. It's easy not to win. You just stay and do nothing. Then you don't win. But if you must win as a couple, you must have a knack for increasing your skill level, right? And your spouse is going to go through seasons, and seasons change. You need to be able to up your skill to be able to meet that present demand, right?
You shouldn't shy away from talking about as in the skills. Okay, so how's my communication? How is my negotiation?
Getting feedbacks.
How is my parenting? How is my financial management style? How is the sex? All those things are things that you need to know whether you are doing them right and develop the required skill for it. If you needed a skill for your job, you would go and get it because you know that it will automatically mean you can be promoted to a next level, or you can have more advantage. And so your marriage is also important. So why won't you want to develop the skills that you need? So
tech skills, romance skills, learn everything. All these skills that are important for you to win.
And those are now 2 players.
And those are 2 players.
So how many more to go? I'm not a mathematician. 9 more players.
About 9. So make it as fast as possible. The next is vision.
Oh my God, vision. Critical. What you see.
What you see.
Oh my God.
You need to have a vision. You need to have a vision as a person, right? And a vision for your home, your marriage. I always say that destination defines process, right?
Yeah.
Destination defines process. Even vision gives you the necessary boundaries,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
One of the greatest book, the Bible says that where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint.
They'll
That
do
means
whatever they
there is
like.
nothing that restrains them without vision, right? So what keeps you in check, what keeps you within the confine of, being determined to win, give you the necessary discipline is vision. If you don't have it, please take out time and ask yourself and ask your spouse, what is our family set up to do? Why are we together? What do we want to achieve?
Who do you want to be?
Who do we want to be? Right?
There are some family names that once you mention, when you mention
Exactly.
Dangote, oh, business. Once you
You know?
mention what's that Ondo State governor, his name, they are like, government people and all of that. So what do you want your family to be known for? Like you're saying 25 years from now,
Exactly.
what do we want people to say that we are? What kind of people are we? What's the value we bring, to our world, to our community, to the people around us? That's what vision is.
I mean, and for us, right, our family vision is what, in fact, it drives us. I sometimes I'll laugh and tell my wife that, probably this thing that just happened between us can destroy another woman.
Yeah.
Right. We don't allow things that are minor. We don't allow things that, probably, let me use the word quote and unquote mundane, to affect us. Vision gives you the necessary strength,
Yeah.
right, to keep moving. Takes away distraction, because a lot of marriages don't last because of distractions, actually, right? But vision helps you to take away those distractions and gives you the necessary focus, to keep pushing on, a reason to live, a reason to fight, right? And that's what vision
And
is.
it's so important that a couple comes together and creates their family vision together.
Yeah.
Like you cannot just come from being single and just say this is the vision of the family. A couple
sit down
must
together,
sit down, write down what you envisage, the future that you picture, write it individually, look at it together. You will find similarities there. If not, why did you people even come together in the first place?
Exactly.
You will find similarities there, and then you can build from there. If you're a believing Christian, you can go to scriptures. There are scriptures that talk about the purpose for which we were put together, like multiply, dominate the earth, subdue. All those things are ways that you can start, by getting to know, okay, so what is our specific what do we want to now be in this? So it must be something that both of you do together. And then vision now begins to define the people that you now surround yourself with. Correct. And the information that you are willing to take in.
Yeah.
And the systems that you want to put in place.
Yeah.
It's so critical. And I don't know why couples always take it for granted. It's like running blind when there's no vision. And if you want to leave a legacy, even your parenting will be defined by your vision.
Your vision, correct.
Your parenting style
correct.
will be defined by your vision. So if you want to leave a legacy, and I know that everybody wants to leave a legacy and nobody wants their story to end with them, it begins with vision, because vision will talk about values, and then you will now have like a family creed where everybody knows that this is what we represent as a family, and everybody just aligns to it.
Things don't just happen. People make things.
Yeah.
If you look at the Southeast, so not the Southeast, sorry. The Arabs and that part of the world, right? They have embraced this so much that it's a mindset, it's a mentality, right? Of the kind of dynasty. And that's the mindset.
Yeah.
Having a dynasty.
They have a goal.
Right? Have a goal. You can't, it's so beautiful when you bring kids into this world and they meet you on a journey.
Yeah.
Right? They meet you on a journey. You just see that there's a focus, there's a direction, right? And they just begin to, everyone is a victim, right? Even kids, they're a victim. If you make them the victim of the right things at birth, it becomes their nature, it becomes their habit, right? So people don't create legacy by wishing. You use these tools, and vision is one of them. The next is values. Wow, I said it before. So that's number 3, vision, right? The 4th one is values.
Yeah. So value is not wishful thinking.
Yeah.
It's okay, now that we have the vision,
Mhm.
who must we become to achieve this vision? That's what values are. Your values. So people say we value honesty, but every time daddy is lying to somebody on the phone, they're at home, they say, I'm in the bank, oh yes, I'm there right now. But you are saying that our family we value honesty. No,
Yeah.
you don't value honesty, because
Yeah.
if you value honesty, you will be honest, and
Yeah.
everybody will see it.
And values, those are habits that will help you achieve the purpose, that will help you achieve the vision, right? So you can't just have a vision without developing the necessary values to get there.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very important to guide your marriage. You must have values. Values like forgiveness, values like charity, values like, excellence. These are values.
Fun
Fun
can be a
Fun
value.
can be a
If you
value.
say that you like to do
Yes.
recreational activities,
Yeah.
fun is not a bad thing. It's
Yeah.
a good value to
It's
have,
a good
because
value
it
to have.
sends positive energy
Yeah.
to everybody.
In fact, I look at the entirety of the fruit of the spirit as values, right? Those are values you can actually embrace, right, to help you fulfill that vision.
Yeah.
Okay. Purpose, right? We're discussing yesterday, right?
Yeah, like what's the difference between purpose
and vision, right? It looks so similar, right? And purpose answers why. Why vision is what the destination, right? Purpose is why.
Why do we exist?
Why do we exist as a couple? And it's a question you have to answer every day. If you try to do this every day, you discover that you win every day, knowing the reason why. Okay? It keeps your position in check. Why are we together?
Okay. Out of billions of people in the world,
yes.
Why together?
Right? Probably people from different race, from different tribe, but why are we together? It's critical. It's not coincidence. You must take advantage of meeting or the advantage that comes with meeting someone like your spouse. It's critical.
Yeah, why did I choose him to be my husband? Why did I choose her to be my wife? So what are we now together? Why are we now together? So your mindset of why you are together is what actually drives your behaviors, your actions in the marriage. Because if your reason for coming together was to have children, once you have children, the energy ends. If your reason for getting married was to arrive as in status, you want to just answer wife or husband. Then once you get married, the energy drops. All the intentionality you had before you got married just ends at the door. So you have to have the right perspective as to why you are together. And as a Christian, there is a purpose for which God brings us together. And you have to be able to discover that purpose. And because purpose and vision gives you a sense of significance, it gives everybody in the family some sense of significance, like they have something driving us, something moving us in a certain direction. So everybody takes personal responsibility because of that, because of our purpose and our vision. And we won't advise couples that are older, like when you get to like 15 years, your kids are now teenagers, you need to sit down again and review your vision and make sure that the children's interest too. So everybody can have a personal sense of responsibility. Because if you give the children your vision, they don't have any personal responsibility to it. You just give it to them. So everybody has to have it. So that's how to build, a formidable family.
Good. The next one is fitness, right? You have to be fit.
So now you have vision, you have purpose, you have your values. Oh, now you have now understood what love is and what love is not and all of that. You need fitness because life can get really busy. And when you get busy, you can forget purpose, you can forget vision, you can forget values. But fitness is what do we need to continue doing? What are the habits, the traditions that we need to continue to imbibe to be able to keep us connected?
A few questions for you, right? What did you do together before you got married?
Yes, so.
Right. What were you doing together before you got married? Then why did you stop it? When did you stop it and why did you decide to stop it? I know you may have 1,001 excuses, right? Kids are they're busy and the rest. You need to
work, we need to make money.
You need to make money and the rest. You create time for what you love. You create time for what you find important, right? If you understand that those things were important to you, getting that person and eventually getting married to that person, you would also know it's important to you to keep that marriage, right? To keep it blazing, to keep it growing, to keep it thriving, right? The dates you were going for, what changed, right? How consistent are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the things that will keep you fit is your ability to understand each other's interests. So
Yeah.
what is priority for him? What is priority for me?
Mhm.
Two of us must be interested in
Yeah.
what the other person is interested in. So how are you, how's your career going? Do you feel
Yeah.
like you're developing? Which
Yeah.
area do you need to grow?
Yeah.
Supporting each other in your similar in your interests.
Mhm.
Even if you have similar interests, each spouse must feel like they are being supported
Yeah.
by the other person, and that's where fitness comes in.
Comes in.
So you are doing activities and things that keep you connected.
Yeah,
having
and
steady
sometimes we
conversations.
evolve and things just probably change. Okay,
Yeah.
interests can even change. How aware are you, right,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be able
yeah.
to now align with the person's new interests?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
not just sticking to, oh, I used to know that you used to do this. No, the changes have happened, right? So how flexible are you, to start aligning with their new interests and their new aspirations, and how supportive are you in making them achieve it? We must be fit. The next is team spirit.
Yeah, so now we have to go fast because time
Yeah,
is.
team spirit, that's the next.
Yeah, so
Yeah. So what do
team-
you say about team
So
spirit?
team spirit is that ability for you to work, in sync. You get each other, you just know each other, and you're able to okay, so what are my hurt indicators, as in what are the things that hurt me? That's you're gaining perspective of the things that hurt your spouse, and you're able to okay, so these are the things that we want to do. Then things like having open day, that's what is team spirit, because if we don't have team spirit, how can we even communicate to know what it is that is missing in our home, what is missing in our relationship? So you have to have things like open days. So we're going to have days when we can get so busy, and maybe we'll come back, we're all pressing our phone. I heard something today in a podcast, and the guy was like, they had to create a 15 minutes rule. They didn't even have to make it like 30 minutes, 1 hour. They had to create a 15 minutes rule where everybody keeps their phone aside and they just look at each other and they talk. They're just like, okay, so how are you doing? So what did I do? So it's intentionality, because you don't want anything to suffer. You don't want anybody to be left behind. You don't want to drift apart. So you have to keep that team spirit. So team spirit also suggests that we may hurt each other, but we are in this together.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
We may hurt each other, but we're in this together.
Yeah.
We may offend each other because we have different perspectives. We have different ways of saying things. We are different people. So there are bound to be clashes and mistakes here and there, misunderstandings. But team spirit keeps you connected in a way that you are not like, okay, because you have done this now, me and you are no longer, in this together. You just have that is me against the world kind of, perspective. We against the world, not against ourselves, never against ourselves, but against anything that wants to come against us.
Yeah, the next is understanding, right? And for me, the way I see this is you need to read your spouse. Your spouse needs to be like a book to you.
Yeah.
That you are uncovering, you are getting to understand.
Observe.
So observe. So you know a lot of people pay attention to themselves, what they are going through. It's no longer about you, right? You must understand your teammates so that you will know what to pass on to them, what they can handle, right? The kind of communication they can handle, the kind of, task they can handle. Okay, you don't bring comparison. Oh, this is what I see others people do. Understand their uniqueness. They are unique. They are gifted. If you have this level of understanding, it makes you a winning team, and your spouse also does that to you. Okay, understands you, how you like your food served. What are the things that appeal to you?
Yeah.
What are your times? There are certain timings where, okay, these are the times you like to do things. So read your wife as a book, read your husband as a book, understand it, take your time to understand it, treat them as such, it becomes beautiful.
And this part it's where some people begin to drift apart, because it feels like I'm having to say the same thing over and over again. So you're not paying attention, because paying attention to me means that you are learning about me, just as you say, you are reading me. So you're understanding my personality, the things I like and the things that you understand my strengths, you understand my weaknesses, my love language, you know that I like, that even if you buy me gifts from now to tomorrow, you know that I appreciate if you can spend some time with me. So why do you keep buying me gifts? That's what understanding is. So that words are important to me, but why do you keep saying mean things to me? You don't affirm me, you don't encourage me, you keep criticizing me, and you know that words, and this is where understanding. Once there is no understanding, everything else can just go out of the window, because
Yeah.
everybody needs to know that I am seen, I am heard, and I'm appreciated. And that's where understanding comes in. And so you must be curious. You must maintain constant curiosity about your spouse. If not, marriage becomes boring when two of you are just repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. You just want to keep doing things. You want to love your spouse the way you know how to love.
Exactly.
You're not loving your spouse the way they want to be loved. It means that you're not understanding them.
And one other thing about understanding is your ability to listen. If you're not a good listener, there's no way you can understand.
Or you always listen to respond.
Exactly.
Defense.
Or you always listen to respond, right? Or defend.
Defensive.
Yeah. You must practice that ability to listen without having a say, having to respond, having to defend. Just accept it. Accept what the feedbacks you are getting. Okay. And listening is not just about what the person is saying. Listen to what they are not saying. And if you listen to what they are saying and you listen further, okay, you start hearing what they are not saying. And that is a skill. Okay. And when you are able to do this as a couple, right, it gives you the strength to be able to read your opponent, the things that want to challenge you, right? The threats to your home, the threats to your family. It makes you a formidable team to be able to, handle these external threats, to your home.
Understanding is critical.
It's critical.
Building a
dream team.
In playing to win.
In playing to win. Oh, the next is continuous development. Continuous development. Oh, you just have to continue.
The moment you stop growing as a couple, you begin to decline.
That's it.
They say as a person, if you stop learning, you stop growing. If you stop growing, it's the same thing for a marriage.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for spouses in a home. If you stop developing yourself as individuals and as a couple, you are settling.
Marriage is a school that never ends. Never. You keep learning, and if you're not doing anything about learning, and this is one of the opportunities you have put together by a wonderful sister here, right, to be able to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to. Every week, it could be a routine. Every week, here's something about marriage that will make you better. Okay, that would inspire you to love more, to be invested more in your home. Right, it's important. We all entered into the union, and we are developing ourselves as we go on. It's critical.
Not just in our personal, but also in our careers, in our personal pursuits. When you married me, you knew that my goal was to become CBN governor. How are you
investing?
How are you investing? How are you
Correct.
supporting me in that pursuit? Even as whether as a man, whether as a woman, you both have personal pursuits, and you must be able to ensure that both of you are great. And there are sometimes that each person's growth may require sacrifice. Right?
Yeah.
So maybe this person wants to go and do MBA course or something, and you know that you have the resource or whatever. You just plan it and you say, okay, I know a couple who the husband had to go and do his own postgraduate degree first, so that, okay, I will now be the one to be, and then when he finished, she is now the one, doing what she wants to do. It's understanding, it's team. That's why we say it's the making of a dream team. That's how teams work. One person compromises for the other, and it's a mutual compromise. Not that one person is always the one making the sacrifice, one person is always the one making the compromise. No, we are both willing to sacrifice, we are both willing to compromise where necessary for the best interest of our family. So if I know that we need to move to Canada, I get a very good job there. They are going to be paying me like $5,000. Both of us here, as we are now combined, we're only earning 1,000. But you say, I'm the man. I'm just using as a woman now. Say, I'm the man of the family. How can I leave my work and follow you? And it's team, it's understanding.
Yeah.
And it's based on how much people have understood each other. That's why we said all these things about purpose, vision. You know where your family is headed, you know the value. So you are able to make a decision, say, okay, all right, because some men would be afraid that if you go now, you now can now be lording over me, you are going to change, you are going to do this, you are going to now be a different person, and all that. But it's all understanding and continuous development as well. You understand? So it's something that everybody has to be willing to put in their best foot forward at every point in the marriage.
Yes, so and that brings us to number 10, and I think she just spoke extensively about that too. I think it's all intertwined with the strategy. You need to have a strategy for your home, and I think you just covered that
For
right?
each season.
For each season,
Because marriage
you must
has
have
different seasons.
you have differences.
There's a season where you come in, it's just the two of you.
Yeah,
you
that's
can
the dream.
you
the
can
dream.
you can love you all day. Nobody's disturbing you.
Yeah,
But there's another season where you now have children, or maybe you're
Now-
not even able to have children
Yeah.
at that point, and you're having to go and do IVF and visit the hospitals. All those are seasons. So what's your strategy for keeping yourselves together and connected? If there are issues in the marriage, who do we go to? Who are the people? Who are our community? Like if we get married now, okay, maybe when we're getting married, we decided that nobody was going to come and no visitors allowed. But now we're married and we have a child. My wife needs somebody that can support. So we strategize, and I'm like, okay, so we said this before, but now we need someone. So we'll allow someone to come and stay and things like that. So you have to always have a strategy for every season, even from now until you are aging. We used to say, oh, no parents will live with us, but now one of us, our parents is now like 80, she's no longer able to stay by herself. Okay, so what do we do now? Do we rent a place and get somewhere to stay? It's all strategy. So you have to just always strategize to protect, the quality of your relationship.
As a team,
your marriage.
strategy for parenting also is very critical. Having a united front in front of your kids, very, very critical. That's a beautiful strategy to have. And soon enough, you become empty nesters, they grow up and they have their own life. You need to have a strategy to be able to reconnect.
Because some people stay together. After you not go for a book or you not come back.
So you must have strategy. If you have the opportunity to have, maybe you are in a distant location, right? Not where your spouse is. You have this strategy, to ensure that you're still together as a team. Is very critical. The last is having a technical crew.
The last but
right?
Definitely
not the least, which is a team of coaches who instruct you all the time, right? People you can listen to. You cannot thrive as a team without having mentors and coaches.
The right influence.
The right influence.
People that are skilled to do it, not just random people that will just
right. Don't tell your issues to people who cannot solve it. Yeah. That's one of the problems.
Who don't share your beliefs, who don't share your beliefs, who are not ready to help you win as a team.
Yeah. So you have to listen to those people who are indeed examples, right? People who are mentors indeed that you can learn from, right? That you are accountable to. I always say, I'm scared of those people who do not love to be led and who do not love to listen to anyone. Is dangerous. And I would like to speak to probably all the men joining this call, listening to this recording. It's important that you get yourself in that space where you love to be led. Yeah. Okay, it's difficult because you are wired to lead, and it's difficult and it's somewhat contradictory when you now come under leadership. But it comes with a lot of intentionality and choice that you get to and say, I love to be led. Okay? Yeah. When a fellow man is teaching on marriage, on concepts that will help you, it takes a level of humility to listen because you need it. You don't have it all, right? You don't have it all. You need coaches, you need technical crew to guide you. People who have a greater perspective, Growing up, I one of the things about me was like, will I ever, be able to, because of my background, obviously, right? Can I, keep a home? Can I be a great father, right? What helped me was technical crew. I began to connect with people who were doing it right. I saw the possibility of getting it done. Okay, people loving their wives genuinely, having a beautiful home, raising their children, serving God. Those were my inspiration, right? And I believed that I could do it. And with that, I'm using those to fuel myself to build a dream team that will win. Yeah. So please.
So my husband went to a program one day and he heard something that forever changed the way he does his parenting.
Yeah.
Like it restored his relationship with our first son. Yeah. That was already going as if it's like they can't understand each other. But just listening to a professional
Yeah,
in parenting
yeah.
changed completely, as in now they understand each other very well. They
I
get
mean,
along very well.
just one meeting, right? Just one meeting, just
So when
gaining
he's telling
wisdom.
you, listen, he knows what
Listen,
he's saying. Give
listen.
yourself to knowledge and learn it
Yeah,
from.
learning from people.
Yeah,
Read the
it does
books, get inspired, and it will help. I hope this has helped someone tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll yield the floor back to you. Yes,
Before we yield the
except
floor
you have
to
something to say.
Inasim, I just want to say that, yeah, Inasim, before we yield the floor to, I just want to say that all of these players that we have mentioned, oftentimes it's not easy for you to be able to come to that, as in to be able to handle it by yourself, because oftentimes we have our blind spots and sometimes we have areas of our lives that we don't want to pay attention to. But if you seek a professional, that's why you need the technical crew. You have Inasim of the Family Hub. You can always seek for professionals to help you, guide you. So in our skills, okay, help me create a vision. Okay, so what are the skills that we need? Let us rate ourselves, and then you walk us through what we have scored each other. Okay, so help us, what's our purpose? You just need someone. So what we have done is not, we didn't give you all the information, because all the information that you need to build a dream team cannot be given to you within 1 hour or within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's why we say continuous development. So this exposes you up to be like, okay, I want to have a better understanding of this dream team formation. So you can write down all the players and discuss it with your spouse. That's how you learn. That's how you grow as a couple. Not that you just hear it and you just move on. You do, okay, so this thing that this person said, this is what we don't have. We don't have a family vision. No, we don't have values. I'm not sure. We're always saying it, but we don't have. So these are all the things you may need somebody to, walk you through. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. This is more than I expected. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Thank you too.
My book is full, like I've been writing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everybody joining us. We're actually talking about Play to Win, the making of a dream team, for those of you who joined after we started. And Odufa and her husband, Femi, to guide us through what will actually help us to build a dream team. The first one we need is talent. Second is skill or skills. The third is vision. And then we need values for our homes, for our marriages, and even for our lives. And purpose, fitness, team spirit, understanding, continuous development strategy, and lastly, the technical crew. All these are actually important to be able to make our marriages work. Without these strategies, without we won't be able to create a family that would last the test of time. And it takes humility for one to be able to learn all of this. It takes humility for somebody to sit down and to be able to learn from somebody. Because sometimes we would say, no, I know how to do this. My father got married and his marriage lasted for 60 years and nothing happened, and I can be able to do that. But we are actually in a different dispensation. What was acceptable at their time was actually different from our own time. We are faced with different challenges right now, and there is need for us to be able to learn from each other. And we can only learn by listening to other people. Every mentor has a mentor. Everybody we see thriving and making it out there, they actually have people they listen to or they have listened to. So we all need to grow, we all need to learn, and that is why we put this together every month, and we bring in different people who are already doing what we do. And it takes values to be able to make our marriages work. It takes values and vision and talent and skills and the technical crew and strategies to be able to make our marriage work. And it takes humility for us to be able to learn from other people, to either listen to maybe inspiring messages about marriage, or to read books, or to connect to people of like-mindedness, people who are able to help us to thrive, people who are able to help us to make our marriage work. If we are actually connected to people who have a different vision about marriage, or people who do not believe that marriage can work, or people who keep telling you that marriage is a scam, your marriage won't thrive. Because what you listen to and what you see has a big influence on your marriage. It has a big influence on what and how you're able to do marriage right. Thank you so much once again for taking our time to guide us into this. And I think we have some questions from people who have privately chatted me. I'm going to read these messages, the questions, and if you can just give us some answers to this so we can help people. The first question is, how do I achieve teamwork with a spouse who sees me as a competition? How do I achieve teamwork with a spouse, maybe the husband or the wife, see the other person as a competition? They see them as their team. They think, okay, because you bought a new car, I have to buy a new car too, so I can be able to prepare you. Or you are working in this place, I have to do the same. Or you're doing this, I have to do that, so that I'll be able to like intimidate you and all of that. So they don't see each other as a team. So how does this person go about working with their spouse to be able to see each other as a team, not as a competition? Over to you. I can't hear you. I think you're muted, is it? No. Can you hear me?
Can you hear us? Okay, it's from my end. Can you hear us now? We can't hear you.
So I think it's a device issue.
You look, you,
Yeah, I can hear
you
you
are,
and I can see you now. Okay. I can hear you and I can see you at the moment. Can you hear me? Ha.
okay, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, we're actually having to tune in with another device. All right. So for the person asking, how do you build a dream team with someone who is in competition with you? I hope the sound is not too good.
It's okay. It's clear for me here.
So this question is something that we can't really give like a direct answer because, especially as professionals, I've learned to seek for more details before I can give. Okay, so this is what you can do. So what the questions I would ask is, at what point in the relationship did you notice that the spouse was being competitive? And the main question I always feel like people should ask is, why are they being competitive? Like, what's the reason? Because if you don't know the reason, it's just like putting plaster on a deep cut without stitching it. It will still get bad. So you need to know what is driving that behavior, because there are different factors that drive the behavior of our spouses, right? So you need to be able to understand. So why does this person feel like we need to be in competition? Not blaming yourself, but like, is it something that I did or something that I do that is making this person feel like they're in competition with me? Is it something in the person's upbringing or in the person's previous experiences or environment? Is it a cultural thing? What could be making, because you have to discover where it is coming from to be able to deal with it from the root cause. Because if you're able to now find out that it's probably an upbringing thing, maybe in their family, they were always like, if you get this, maybe you had three brothers, I'm just assuming now, because I am not speaking to the person directly, right? So you had three brothers, and they were like, you must come, any of you that come first, and you will get this, you will get that. So they have that competitive spirit. Is it his personality to be competitive, as in it is his nature? Is he a goal-driven person that always feels the need to win? So you have to now find out, so that first of all, when you find out that it's the upbringing or it's his personality or it's from a past experience, you will be able to now, first of all, isolate yourself to say, okay, so this thing is not actually about me. So it now changes your approach, because sometimes the reaction to a spouse's negative behavior is irritation, resentment, bitterness, forgiveness, and it doesn't make you act right towards them, and therefore it doesn't bring any change. Because sometimes we say, okay, so I want my husband to be less competitive. This is what I want. But then what you believe is that he is competitive. But your behavior now, what are you going to do to ease him off from being competitive? This is what I'm telling you now. You need to first of all, find out, why does he have this competitive nature? When did it start? Was it before we got married or after we got married? What events triggered competition? Or has it always been something that is in him? And you can even help him from a place of empathy to try to discover why. But you can't do that if you are working in resentment, if you are working in bitterness, you are being defensive and all of that. Because to solve a problem, you have to be in the right mind. You have to have the right mindset and right perspective. So you're able to walk the person through to discover why they are competitive.
Okay, I would just like to add that if your spouse sees you as a competition, first of all, do you have that competitive tendencies? And probably is not involved in your decision making, because if he sees you that way, that is the image you are portraying. Okay? Because he's going by what he's seeing, what his experiences are.
Yeah.
He may be looking at you from the lenses of his past, no doubt, things that he has gone through. Okay, or maybe his esteem issues, a lot of things around that. But most importantly, you will need to involve such a spouse in your decision making. Okay, make them feel a part of whatever decisions you're about to take, and listen for their opinions. Okay, because indeed, if you continue to surprise one another or try to outshine one another, not giving one another the credit for whatever they do, then he sees you as a competition. And it's not a right mindset. You can't drive a winning team with that kind of mindset. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the second question is, sorry, I'm trying to get the question out. The second question is, my husband is about most things in life. and in our marriage? How do I go about getting him to be serious about our marriage? The husband is complacent and passive about most things in life and even the marriage as well. So how does this person convince a husband to get serious with life and the marriage?
Again, this is what vision and purpose answers to. Where someone is passive, right, and doesn't have the drive, like my wife said, probably his vision was just to get married. He's accomplished, and that is all. Okay, so if there is nothing else to look up to, there's nothing else to look forward to, okay, that is where you won't have the necessary drive. The passion will not be there. So what our advice is this: you need to have a conversation with him, knowing that you can do better. This is not the threshold of your union, okay? And you must be able to communicate effectively how this is affecting you as a team. Because until you know that you can do more, it's just for you, for instance, if you know you have the capacity to do, I'm trying to use a proper example, because as an engineer, I'm just thinking engineering. So you have the ability to carry maybe 100 kg, right? But you've been used to carrying just 10. Anything that speaks to your potential gives you the drive to want to do more. So you must have that conversation with your spouse, understanding the effect of him being passive on your union. Okay, because it's going to affect your children, it's going to even affect you. Okay, so having honest conversation with your spouse will help. Okay, and the conversation is you painting the picture of what you can be. You know where you are right now, and the level of and the effect of his passiveness on your union. Try to paint a picture of a preferred future that the both of you can have.
Yeah.
Okay? Let him begin, because you see, vision sometimes can be transferred. Okay? So let him see that this is a possibility of you having those times you used to have, those important moments, those memorable, times that will help you create that vision, and let him see it. It will begin to revive that, and you need to give him time. It's not going to happen at once. Please just see like a baby who is learning to walk again. Okay? And you take it one step at a time. One step at a time. You cannot be angry. You cannot serve as any form of discouragement to him. Okay? When he starts that baby steps, applaud him for the little effort he makes every day. Give him credit. Applaud him. Say you can believe in him. As in, give him those words. The words are powerful, right? And before you know, it begins to become active again and more invested in the marriage.
And then again, all these things is still strategy, right? And I always say it because what you want, the end justifies the means. You want your husband to be less passive and
more active.
to be less passive and more active in the relationship. There's a technique to it. There's a behavior that will drive his own behavior too. And I always say that sometimes when our spouses are not doing things that we don't appreciate or we don't want, our default setting oftentimes is to begin to resentful, to be irritable, and all of that. But that's not especially when you know that you want the person to change. There is an approach to it. It may make it appear like you are stupid, because that's what your mind will. If I do this now, they'll think that maybe I'm a fool. And so, what do you want? And what you want must drive your behavior towards him. And so you want to also to assist that person to be less. All these things is telling you now, you can't achieve it if you are doing it from a place of with force or control. You have to be tactical in it.
Even as you are trying to get your husband to be less passive and more active in the relationship, make sure you don't lose focus of your own self, or the things that you are supposed to be working on yourself, or the things that you want to achieve. Pay attention to your personal flourishing, so that should in case, I have faith, and I believe that your husband can change, but should in case that change takes longer than is required, focus on your personal flourishing. Focus on things that make you fulfilled, that give you personal fulfillment.
Yeah.
So that by the time he now becomes, he's now participating in the relationship, you are not now gone.
Yeah.
So you don't want to lose yourself in trying to help somebody else find themselves. So focus on your personal flourishing. Focus on things that drive you. Even if you're supposed to have a collective vision and you don't have it, have a personal vision for yourself. If you know that, okay, he's not involved in parenting, what is your own strategy for parenting? What do you now want to do, to be able to make your children the best that they need to be? And even as you are doing that, I also believe that, except maybe for different reasons, I also believe that your husband probably has his area of strength as well. You can also focus on the things that he is doing much more than the things that he is not doing, to
Yeah.
also help your demeanor and your position and your posture to be able to even bring him along. Nobody wants to feel like they are being controlled or they are being babied. So there is a technique to helping and assisting your spouse to be the person that you want them to be, but at the same time, focus on your personal flourishing.
Thank you very much. And from my own end, I think, for example, if somebody is in a coma and you're watching over that person maybe prayerfully and hoping that one day that person is going to come out of a coma. And if that person eventually comes out of that coma, you won't expect that person to just get up and start running or start doing the things he or she used to do before getting into a coma. So we will now assume that your husband is actually in a coma. And while you nurture, while you pray, while you take care of him, or while you do whatever it is you need to do, give him time. And by the time he comes out of that coma, you won't expect him to just be the Superman he used to be, or the Superman that you think you should be. Nurture gently, prayerfully, with grace. I think not just for the man now, we're talking about marriage in itself. We can't do marriage without grace, without mercy. No matter who we think we are, no matter what we think we know, we have shortcomings, we have weaknesses, and we have strength. And that is why we will always pray to God to help us work on our weaknesses and also to modify our behaviors and also work on our strength. Let's put more effort on our strength, on the things we can do, and the things we cannot do. Let God help us to work on our weakness. So while you work with your husband or your wife to be able to be all that God has created them to be, and to be able to make your marriage the kind of marriage you envision, let's be kind to one another, let's be patient, and let's treat each other with grace. Because if we are going to, if God is going to treat us the way we treat our spouses, I don't know how it is going to be. Sometimes we don't treat our spouses with grace and we don't treat them with love. So we should be mindful of how we treat each other. We should treat each other with grace, with mercy, and with love. And also the same way you would pray for somebody who is in a coma to come out of coma, we should pray for each other daily, because we owe each other a responsibility of praying for one another. And also, like Odufa has already said, don't forget yourself while actually your husband to come out of a coma, but not coma like coma, but the passivity before he gets to being active and instead of being complacent. Or even your wife, we have wives that are also complacent. So while you help your spouse to be able to come out of their passivity, don't forget yourself. It is not you are not just a wife first. You are somebody before being a wife or a mother. There's a purpose for why you are created. So don't forget your purpose while you help another person to fulfill their own purpose. Remember who you are, remember why you were created, understand why you were created, and try to fulfill purpose. Don't just sit there, you're waiting for your husband. He might come out of the coma for 40 years, and you're 60, and you have not done anything for your life. Your life has there, that somebody will come around. So don't forget yourself and don't forget why you were created, why you have help you have grow, develop yourself, nurture yourself, and flourish. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Any more questions?
Let me see if we have any more questions. We don't have any question at the moment. So would you be able to give us your final words before we call it a day? It's already night in Nigeria, but it's morning here for us. It's morning.
Yeah, it's nice
Please
over
just
here.
Yeah, so I just want to say that, like I said in the beginning, every marriage has the potential to thrive. You can play to win and you can win. You can build a dream team marriage, not just because your thriving or your flourishing depends on it, but the people around you too can draw energy and strength from your relationship. Your children also are gaining perspective of what relationship, love, marriage means just by being around you. So have a reason, have a strong reason why you need to build that dream team, and let that reason, let it drive you to do all that is required. And whatever it is that may be blurring your perspective or influencing your belief about marriage, about love, about roles and responsibilities, you need to be able to work on it. Maybe it's as a result of past trauma, traumatic experiences, from our upbringing and all of that. You may need to just be able to offload and unleash every burden that you may be carrying inside that is not allowing you to see clearly the beauty that is in your spouse or that is in marriage or that is in love, so that you can really enjoy the benefits of marriage. Because marriage at the end of the day was actually designed to enrich you. It wasn't designed to make you lose yourself. It wasn't designed to make you be less of yourself. It was designed to make you more. And we always say that two good people can make a mess of a marriage. What makes a great marriage is empowered individuals, empowered with the right information, empowered with the right counsel, and they're able to put in the work and they're able to win as a team. So I hope that you keep playing to win and that you win all the way. We believe in you and we are rooting for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Annie. That was powerful.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so finally from me, God made marriage, and God is too detailed to create anything without an intention or create anything that will fail, that will take away from you and not add to you. His intentions are always to make you better. So making marriage was to make you better and not to take away from you. So the spouse that you have, you can build a dream team with that spouse by taking the right step today. No matter how maybe messy and bad it has been, every day is an opportunity to make the right decisions.
Yeah.
We are the sum total of the choices that we have made so far. The day we begin to make different choices, it will change the outcome of tomorrow. Just make the right choice on how to treat your spouse. Make the right choice. See them the way God sees them. I mean, that's the power of love. Love is not only when it's good and rosy. No, it's like while you are yet a sinner. It's knowing the truth about somebody and loving them for who they are. You can. And I believe in you. If you're listening to me today, you can. And I hope to see you on the winning side, on the statistics that makes marriage work. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Nassim, for having us.
Thanks, Inasin.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much, and may the Lord bless you richly. And to all our viewers and those who are going to rewatch and those who are going to watch the rebroadcast, thank you for taking that time to we just want to let you know that marriage is good. Marriage is not a scam. God is the originator of marriage. He has a reason for creating marriage. Like Femi said, God will not create something to take away from you. He created marriage to add something to your life, not to take away from you. But if you're going through any situation beyond your control, we pray for healing. And while you heal, we pray that you're able to connect with people who are able to help you on life's journey. We know the people who are actually good for our families. We know the people who are good for our marriages, and we know the people who are not good for us. So may we be able to be bold enough to connect with the people who are good for us and people who will add value to our marriages. May we be bold enough to disassociate ourselves. We don't have to hate people. You can disassociate yourself from people who are not good for you and good for your marriage. So we pray that the Lord will bless each and every one of us. His plans for us are plans of good, not of evil, plans to prosper us, to give us a future and hope. And we can have a future and hope for our marriages. Marriage is good. Marriage is not a scam. And we can actually make our marriages work if we do the right thing, if we do ourselves to humble ourselves, learn from other people, and we learn from other people when you are humble. If you're not humble and say you know it all, but then you're hurting your spouse in one way or the other, you can learn from other people. And that's why we're here to bring our knowledge. We don't know it all, but we are learning as well. We are here to lend our voices to people who think marriage is to people who want to make their marriages work. So may the Lord bless each and every one of us, and thank you all for joining. Thank you for thank you. I'm sorry for the network, for the glitch, the network problem, and everything. We're trying to see how we can make this work the next time we're having our next meeting. Thank you. God bless each and every one of us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now,
Yes.
Good night from this end. Enjoy the rest of your day over there.
Okay, bye now.